This is Ars Poetic, and in this video we'll be going over my first impressions of the PS5's upcoming system software update. I currently have access to the beta build, so I've been able to get a sneak peek at some of the upcoming system features. In this video we'll be focusing on the new addition of folders, otherwise known as game lists, though there are plenty of other noteworthy features being added, including 1440p support and further enhancements to the UI and other existing features. If you'd like to know more of the details, I'll leave a link in the description for you to check out. Let's start by looking at our home screen and going over to the game library. So far it's the same old, and folders are nowhere to be found. This is because you have to go over to the Your Collection tab to utilize this new feature. You can see here that I created 6 game lists so far. Selecting a list will show you all of the games in it. So how do we go about making these lists and adding games to them? To start, you can scroll down into your collection and hit the new folder icon to the left side. This will take you into a screen where you can select how many games you'd like to add to this new game list. Once you have your selection, give it a title and you're all set. Let's go over how we can add games to existing lists while also pointing out a flaw in the system. We can see that currently in my queue folder, we have the game Blasphemous. Now, if we scroll down to our collection, we can hit the option button on this game and add it to an existing list. Note that it does not indicate which list it is already on. If we add it to the queue folder that it already is in, there's nothing to notify me that I've already done this, and instead I just get a confirmation pop-up saying it's been added to the game list. On another note, you can add the same games to multiple folders, which is nice as some categories may overlap. If you want to add multiple games to an existing list, the best way to do this is to open up that folder and select the plus icon to the left. This will allow you to select multiple titles in the same way that you can when creating a games list. While this is a step in the right direction, I would like Sony to take a page from Steam's book and add more functionality to this feature. For instance, in Steam you can create dynamic collections, which automatically update based on matching criteria. For example, you can have a list of controller-supported games, VR games, and so on. When you have a subset of your collection focused on these types of features, automating that process is awesome. Overall, I love that Sony finally added the ability to create folders on the PS5. I know that it is a beta build, but it still does feel half-baked in the current way it is implemented. Simple things like being able to organize the order of your game lists and even the games within those lists are must-have features that I'm surprised don't exist currently. I'm sure that these features will come, but the question is when. Hopefully before the official release of this system software update. Also, I would much prefer the ability to have these folders on my home screen in some way, rather than have to scroll over to my game library and switch the tab over to my collection. One of the main goals of organization for me personally is having easier access to things by knowing exactly where they are and minimizing the steps you take in looking for them. Having to scroll over to these folders sort of minimizes the impact a feature like this can have when you have to scroll past a handful of recently played games and your currently installed collection. It almost makes more sense to just take a second to look through your installed games and find what you're looking for. At least there you have more options when it comes to sorting games, like sorting by name or date purchased. One thing I'd like to eventually see expanded on is the ability to change the view within these game lists, like how you can set a custom view for files on Windows. For instance, I'd like to be able to have the option to adjust the size of these thumbnails, or instead have my games listed as a scrollable list. Anyways, that's it for this preview. The game list feature is what I am most excited about on this upcoming software build, but there's still room for much needed improvement. If you like this type of content, be sure to let me know by liking the video and maybe checking out the other content I put out. Thanks for watching. This is Ars Poetic, dropping the mic. Peace.